in the Minister of Finance and applauds the work of the President and the Minister to boost confidence in South African economy and attract investments and avoid further downgrades. The NEC welcomes the establishment of Invest South Africa, overseen by the Interministerial Committee on Investment and chaired by the President himself. Invest South Africa is a one-stop shop meant to facilitate investment in South Africa. The ANC expects all state-owned companies to perform optimally, adhere to principles of good governance, and continue to pursue both financial viability as well as their developmental mandate. Accordingly, the NEC expressed particular concern about the financial viability of the South African Airways, continued governance challenges that have undermined its stability and competitiveness, as well as its ability to pursue its turnaround strategy as adopted by Cabinet in 2013. Consequently, the NEC urged the government to rapidly resolve challenges facing the board of the South African Airways. Now, the ANC is confident that our policies and practices, as well as government economic actions, will contribute to reversing our present economic challenges and will ensure that we continue to give leadership to our country's economic turnaround. This will be done in partnership with all social partners, including labor and business. That is what we have resolved in the area of the economy. On local government elections, the NEC received an extensive report on the preparations and state of readiness for 2016 local government elections. The NEC reaffirmed its commitment to the Back to Basic program and is satisfied with the progress already achieved in addressing the challenges faced by and in municipalities. The NEC is happy with the work done and progress achieved in activating our local structures, establishing its volunteer corps, and training them in preparation for the vibrant campaign that will get underway immediately after the launch of the ANC manifesto by the President on 16 April 2016 in Nelson Mandela Metro. Furthermore, the NEC applauds and salutes South Africans who have reaffirmed their registration, re-registered, and those that registered for the first time. We call on all South Africans who still have not done so to visit the municipal electoral offices in their respective municipalities and to verify through the IEC website so that nobody is left behind during the coming important local government election. The ANC also urges South Africans who have not registered to register during the next registration period of 9 and 10 April 2016. The NEC noted with concern the recent electoral court ruling on the Gwede matter and has joined the IEC Constitutional Court to appeal as an amicus curiae. The people of South Africa fought long and hard and made enormous sacrifices in order to attain the right to vote. And the ANC believes that this right must not be taken lightly. The NEC is thus concerned that the unintended consequences of the ruling may result in millions of eligible voters being disenfranchised. The NEC resolved that the ANC will announce mayoral candidates for metro and strategic municipalities prior to local government elections. We are departing from the old tradition of only announcing mayors after the elections. This will be done in line with the resolution of the 52nd National Conference. We are quoting the resolution for you so that there must be no confusion about what will happen. It goes, at local government level, the REC should make recommendations of not more than 3 names of cadres in order of priority, who should be considered for mayorship, and the PEC will make final decision based on a pool of names submitted by the RSC. Those names of those members of either the RSC or the PEC who are being considered for deployment should recuse themselves when discussing decisions affecting them are taken. The NEC is firmly convinced that the ANC will win the 2016 local government election decisively, as South Africans remain confident in the leadership of the ANC and are fully aware of its record of delivery and its commitment to the people of South Africa and their well-being. I must add that to ensure that we work together as various organs of the organization, once the PEC has nominated and selected mayoral candidates, those will be discussed with the NEC and the officials, so that if the national structures have an issue with the particular candidate, they think that is not a good enough candidate, we'll still make an input and even change that candidate. But on the alleged business influence on the state, the ANC-NEC had frank and robust discussion on the serious allegations surrounding the Gupta family and its purported influence in the appointment of ministers, their deputies, and other positions in key state-owned entities in their interest. Such actions can have no place in the ANC and its government, as they have the potential to undermine and erode the credibility and confidence of our people in the leadership of their organization, the ANC and its government. We reject the notion of any business or family groups seeking such influence over the ANC with the contempt it deserves, while also recognizing the need to act to protect the integrity of our government and our organization. The appointment of ministers and deputy ministers is the sole prerogative of the President of the Republic. In line with the Constitution, to this end, the ANC continues to confirm its full confidence in our President. The ANC mandated the officials and the NWC, that is the National Working Committee, to gather all pertinent information about the allegation to enable the ANC to take appropriate action on this matter. The ANC calls on all members who have information to approach the Secretary General's office. Office is broader than me. And the NEC will develop a code of conduct for ANC members doing business with the state. In addition, the NEC expressed its utmost disgust at the arrogance, disrespect, and reckless journalism displayed by the New Age newspaper on 18 and 19 March 2016, ANN7 News Channel 16 to 18 March 2016, and the representative of the Gupta family. They have characterized the ANC as a group of factions for and against President Zuma. The NEC also condemned the report in the city press and other media outlets on 20 March 2016 containing similar allegations. The ANC reserves the full right to take the necessary action in this regard. In other words, we have a right to go anywhere else and try to get this thing of generalship. That is accorded to us by some ANN7 that were generals and rebels in the ANC. We're taking a big exception to that. On organizational matters, the NEC reaffirmed the rule that all provincial general councils must be preceded by properly constituted branch general meetings. Where this rule is not complied with, such a meeting left the status of a cadres forum. The NEC confirmed that public representatives of the ANC are not required to sign any post-dated resignation letter. It has happened in one of our provinces. The NEC regrets the decision of the High Court to grant parole to Janus Walus, the murderer of Chris Hani, and welcomes the decision of the Minister of Justice to take this decision on review. On Human Rights Day, the NEC dedicates this Human Rights Day to the advancement and promotion of non-racial South Africa, and the NEC urges all South Africans to fight racism in all its manifestations and to build unity and cohesion in our country. On Good Friday and Easter weekend, we wish all Christians well over the Easter weekend and safety on their travels to the various church gatherings across the country. The ANC urges all South Africans to observe the rules of the road during the Easter weekend, be patient with one another, and arrive alive at their various destinations. The ANC is encouraged by the efforts of the Secretary General of the United Nations to resolve the question of independence and self-determination of Western Sahara. And the NEC calls upon all peace-loving people the world over to support these efforts. The NEC congratulates Dr. Aaron Mtwaledi on receiving the USA TB Award in recognition of South Africa's leadership in global fight against tuberculosis. The NEC further congratulates the newly crowned Miss South Africa, Ndando Ngosi Kunene, and wishes her well as an ambassador of our country. That is the end of our statement.
Thank you, SG.
Back to Zizi.
Thank you very much, SG. You're now crossing live to Zizi. Can we take questions? I'm sure we'll take into account the issue of time that we started late. I have Hajra. We'll only take that last round. Oh, Stephen. Grotes. Hajra.
In your summation of the discussion around the Guptas as well as the coverage of the Guptas, is the NEC or are you not selectively quoting media reports without even trying to defend anyone? There's serious allegations being made in the media by an ANC member, Becky Mentor, that President Jacob Zuma was in the home of the Guptas, and when she responded to him saying, "I'm sorry, I can't do what they asked him," his response was, "It's okay in Ntombazana." In the Sunday Times today, there's an allegation by the former CEO of GCIS, Gwede Mantashe, that it's the president that called him and told him to go to the Gupta residence. That's number one. Number two, was there a discussion around ill discipline of ANC members? Did the NEC discuss whether Felicie Jonas should have approached the top six before going public? Thank you.
Okay, Stephen.
Stephen Crickles, Eyewitness News. Mr. Mantashe, people who are going to come forward with information, can you give a promise now that they'll be protected? And I mean specifically politically. In other words, if someone is Gwede Jonas, for example, and Deputy Minister of Finance, you might feel that by coming forward, your position might be changed around you. Are you able to give an assurance to ANC members, whoever they may be, that they'll be protected politically? And then, in the future, from now, do you expect, as the ANC, to be consulted about any future cabinet appointments or reshuffles?
There was a Mgambi.
Thank you very much. Claudine Mgambi from eNCA. SG, the foundations of Tambo, Mandela and Kafrada have written a letter to the ANC, which we understand we've received, appealing to the party to take note of the mood of the people of South Africa and to take urgent corrective action in the best interest of the country. Now, the question posed to you, SG, is, would you say in this meeting, would you say that this particular meeting has been reflective of that? And just as a second question, is there anything more that the party has decided, apart from members who've been approached to then approach the Secretary General's office. For example, the SACP has called for a judicial commission of inquiry. Did that find any favor inside the NEC?
Thanks, Tom. Oli, you might last hand.
Thank you. It's Govan from Eyewitness News as well. Mr. Mantashe, mine is just on comments that were made by NEC members and leaders of the Women's League, Katabile Dlamini, the minister, saying that in the NEC, all the members or most of the members have small skeletons in their closets, and if that had to be released, all hell would break loose. Wanted to find out whether you agree with that statement, and what do you think of the fact that the leader of the Women's League is making that comment about members of the NEC themselves?
Thank you, SG.
Thank you very much. We are not selectively quoting the media, Hajra. Fenji, Temba Maseko, and many others are given now an avenue in the SGO to come and have a proper discussion with the ANC so that we can understand what is it that they understand and what they know. At this point in time, we're depending on the snippets in the media. So that cannot be the basis for any discussion, for any decision by any organization that is self-respecting. And I think, so they are also part of the people who must come to that and use that avenue that is open to them. Anything about discipline against people like Mcebisi Jonas, you don't discipline people when they do the honorable thing. So there was no such a decision. But those people who take public platform and make that pronouncement is what they think. But you don't discipline people for doing the most honorable thing and actually say to the organization, there is a problem here. It is not done. Will members be protected politically? Politically, they will be protected. That's why I want them to come forward. But I want to demystify the fact that if you have come to the fore, then you are immune from any action in the organization. For example, I'm a minister. I came forward. If there's a reshuffle, I'm reshuffled. Will that be seen as punishment? We can't allow disclosure to be used as protection. But politically, the ANC will protect them. It will protect their rights. It will process anything that they raise that needs protection of the ANC. The three foundations that we have written, you see, yesterday I met the CEOs of the three foundations, and they left this correspondence with me. And I said to them, the other day I received the other one, which is on the front page of one of the newspapers. I think it's Sunday Times, huh? And I see them. Both people who brought that correspondence to me, I said to them, listen, I'm hoping you are giving this to the ANC. You are not giving us an open letter that will be in the media. So if both of those letters are with the media, that means both the three foundations and the comrades who sent us the first letter actually could as well send an open letter to the media. Otherwise, what is the point of writing to the ANC if your intention is not to have a discussion with the ANC and advise the ANC, particularly when it is veterans and leaders that are prominent in the structure of the ANC? Our expectation is that such people should come and advise us. Secondly, I advise the foundation, say, hey, listen, these foundations are very important. Don't drag them in the dirty space of politics. You are going to harm them. Say, no. We're just giving our advice. Okay, fine. Now, if that letter is with the media, it means they have volunteered themselves to be in the dirty space of politics. And obviously, if you get to that space, you'll be treated as a person who's in that space. Then the respect of the foundation of our stalwarts come down a little bit because here are political foundations coming to that space and they dirty themselves in the space is unfortunate. We didn't discuss the Communist Party. We had our discussion as the African National Congress. So, if the Communist Party is asking for a judicial inquiry, it is the resolution of the Communist Party. Now, we don't overlap. We're an alliance of 4 independent parties that take resolutions of their own. What we have communicated here is the resolution of the African National Congress. And we don't want to be spokesperson of other formations, including our allies. A member goes there and say, all members of the NEC have their own small skeletons. It's better if it's not Mukovus, you know. If it's just skeletons, not Mukovus, you know, Mukovus Tunzel. It's much, much better. But again, it is a sign of ill discipline. Because a member of the Women's League who's a member of the NEC, of the ANC, doesn't take platform and take a swipe on everybody at the spur of the moment. You know, sometimes when we deal with you, we treat you as our friends. And I always, somebody taught me, hey, Chief, you must be careful about this off-record discussion with the media. Media is there to publish. So it's not there to keep files of what you want to say. So when you talk to the media, say what you want to say, what you can say anywhere and anytime. So this again is another unfortunate. It reflects the environment and the timing thereof. Is there any question that I have missed?
No. You answered that. Reshuffle.
Yeah,
Whether you'll be consulted.
Expect the ANC to be consulted on any future cabinet appointments or reshuffle?
No, I don't think that is how we operate. Cabinet reshuffles are not planned that in June we'll have another one, in December we'll have another one, and in June next year we'll have another one. That is not how government works. So at this point in time, there was no discussion of a planned cabinet reshuffle.
Sorry.
No, it was about consultation. Do you think
Consultation.
Yes.
Would you as the ANC expect to be consulted about any future cabinet reshuffle?
Let me tell you, Stephen, sometimes this thing is always raised as a major issue that we're not consulted. I don't know who in the ANC is not consulted. The president, since taking office in 2009, yes, one of the things that he established as a tradition is that before he put together a cabinet, he consulted with the top 6. And when he actually called those members of the cabinet, I sit next to him. And the reason that I sit next to the president, not symbolic, is to send a clear signal that, listen, you are being deployed by the ANC to this responsibility. That has not changed. Cabinet reshuffles, we get consulted in a number of ways. If I have a complaint of consultation, maybe the time is short or that, but the president of the ANC, Jacob Zuma, in every change in the cabinet, does consult the top 6. You know why we only consult the officials? It's because everybody else should be an interested party. Just close your eyes and think of any cabinet constitutional reshuffle discussed in the NEC. There would be chaos, because why is this and not me? It can't happen. But the top 6 of the ANC is always consulted, so that expectation continues. It's not something new.
I start right at the back, I take these few hands, and then I'm done. You first.
Mantashe, Franz Wild from Bloomberg. Given that the president's relationship with the Gupta family is known to be quite close, he said himself that he's friends of theirs. In several new reports, such as today, Gwede Mantashe said it was the knowledge of the president. The president's son is in business with the Gupta family. Was his role discussed in terms of when you discussed the Gupta family and their alleged influence over state bodies.
Thank you.
If so, can you give us an idea of what was said, and if there was anything said about how he should comport himself in the future?
Okay.
My name is Bobby from Vilakasi Media. And my question is the president willing to take accountability for a decision and resign in front of the people of South Africa?
For the decision?
Let me repeat it again. Is the president willing to take accountability for the decision and resign in front of the people of South Africa, as much as we heard that the people want the president to step down?
I had that question in Parliament. But it sounds very familiar. Someone asked that question in Parliament. But anyway, it's you.
You can see it is written.
Yeah, it's written. It's reading it. No, it was asking Parliament. It was asking Parliament. Yes. No. Yes.
From News 24. Just to add to my colleague's question, was the president asked about the allegations that were made by regarding the Guptas by Themba Maseko, and what was his response? And secondly, did at any stage a question arise for the president to be recalled?
Okay. As you want to know as to whether you did receive a report from former MK.
Yes, I did.
And it is led by former minister.
I did. 25 of them, yes.
Okay. And what is your response?
It's the one that is published in the Sunday Times now. I referred to it already. But ask your question.
This is the question I wanted to raise.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Senator Italian from the SABC. On the issue of the public space between the finance minister and the other public institutions, are you able to give us an idea as to how far the depth of the discussions about this issue, given the fact that we still hear that the Hawks are pursuing the court action on this matter? Are you able to share us with how the NEC members felt about how to resolve this issue? And it's also talking to the SAA governance issue. I mean, there's been all sorts of calls for stability at the SAA. Are there any kind of proposals that have been put in place to save the airline? Thanks.
Thank you. Peter Monomai, IFM. Just want to find out, there's two questions to you. The Youth League president has asked for the removal of the deputy minister. What did the ANC say about it, or what does the ANC say about it? And also, quickly, is it possible maybe to give just an indication with regard to what the NEC will be doing to gather this information? Is it part of perhaps a meeting with the family? Or just to give guideline or highlight with regard to what we expect?
No. You're my last hand.
Gwede Mantashe from the BBC Africa Service. Mr. Gwede Mantashe.
Yeah, Gwede Mantashe, yeah.
There are reports from Northwest Premier that recently issued a statement: foreigners will not be allowed to do any more business tax shops in townships. I don't know if, as the NEC, you have discussed this matter. The second question is about, people have been talking about capture the nation, but others have been saying that the Guptas have captured the president. I mean, how do you look at that reaction from the people that it's the president who has been captured, it's not the state?
Okay. Thank you, SG. Put your hand down.
Hands down.
Yeah, no. We done that. That was the last send on the Northwest. On that note. First question.
Let's deal with few concepts. The first thing is that you go back to the question of Maseko, a question that I think I have answered in detail. that the avenue open for people to come and explain themselves and what happened to them, what are the problems. It will include allowing Themba Maseko to come to the SGO. We get details of what is it that he is alleging to have happened. That is the first thing. And if you read our statement, if you listen very carefully, we said, so that the ANC can be able to take concrete action. The reason for that is that the ANC doesn't listen to a hype, okay, that everybody is calling for the resignation of the president, the recall of the president, and others, Abo Lamula, come and even pick at us here, would recall the president. If the organization can work that way, you will have no organization in no time. You will have no organization in no time, really. The organization must get information, process it, and take concrete decisions. That is basically what we are saying. And therefore, what we are saying is that we don't say we're dismissive of any allegation of anything. We do not know. People must come to the fore. We understand their allegations. We ask them questions. Then we report to the NWC and process that issue. Ultimately, it comes to the NEC. At this point in time, taking decisions because there is a hype in the media, many people will be injured in the process, I can tell you, and you will have no organization. The question of the relationship between the Guptas and the president's son doing business with the Guptas. This question, I answered it before, is that one time the president or the chairperson of the Southern Press Council, Judge Ngwebe. The chairperson or the president? Chairperson of the appeal of the Southern Press Council. In a judgment between ourselves and the Daily Dispatch, by the outcome, which was a majority judgment, not unanimous, 3-2, actually supported a very strange notion of families of politicians are proxies of politically connected individuals. I've said that, I'm repeating it today, I don't subscribe to that notion. Because that notion is dangerous in this way. If you are a political activist and a politician, you are Zizi Kodwa, you have children, you send them to school, they become professionals. They must not work until you stop being active in politics. It can't work that way. Once I have a child who is a professional, who's an adult, that adult, child of Gwede Mantashe, must take his decisions. If Jacob Zuma's son is in business with the Guptas, that is something else. What will concern us is only when that relationship impacts on the ANC. Who relates with who does business with you, is not what we should be preoccupied with in the ANC. But if that relationship begins to impact on the ANC, that is what we are going to safeguard the ANC from. That is it. And in that situation, we'll do what we say we're going to do, get the information, get the report, process it, ask questions. If we must confront the Guptas, we will confront them. We've met them before. We'll have a follow-up meeting with them in the coming week, because if they are in the space with us and their name keeps on popping up around the ANC will have to engage with that reality. But you don't just, because people say so, come to a determination. It doesn't work like that in real life. Is the president willing to take accountability and step down? That's why I said it's a question written for you by a political party that raised that question in Parliament. All I'm saying is that that never arose in the NEC. That's my answer. It didn't even arise in the NEC. MK veterans, I've already responded to that question because it's on the first page of the Sunday Times. And our view is that if the MK veterans led by General Spuenyande are genuine about wanting to engage the ANC, they don't engage the ANC in the Sunday Times. They will come, we'll call them, they've written the letter, we've received the letter. It's one of those that will say, come, let's talk to you, what is your view? Why? And also ask them at that point, why when you engage us, do you at the same time release that letter to the media? That is not genuine engagement. It's sensationalizing the issue. It's sensationalizing the issue. And if we can run an organization on the basis of sensation, there will be no organization. I want to emphasize this point so that journalists must appreciate how an organization works. An organization doesn't work in a way of there is a hot story, and therefore the organization must run helter-skelter and chase that story and harm many of its members. It cannot work that way. Despite with the treasurer, how is it going to be dealt with? Actually, the directive that has been given is that within the government structure, which are clear, call all the people concerned, discuss the public spec. They must stop fighting in the public. If they must do their work, they must do it professionally, quietly, off the glare of the public attention. Otherwise, it complicates. If there's an investigation, that in itself complicates the investigation. How to save the SAA, in our statement, we're summarizing a very involved discussion on how to deal with the SAA. We're taking forward the issue that was raised by the Minister of Finance in the budget, saying, for example, one basic issue, do we need to have SAA and SA Express? And they provide guarantees for this and guarantees for that. Or should we have one merged airline in South Africa, strengthen it, make it work efficiently, and that's the issue. And we've raised the question of the importance of improving governance in that institution, which is very, very critical and key to improving SAA. The ANC Youth League President asked for removal of Mcebisi Jonas. Again, that falls in the category of ill-discipline. Again, it falls in that category. You don't go to a rally and ask for a removal of a member of the ANC. If you have an issue, raise that in the ANC processes it. It has disciplinary structures that are very intact and actually very decisive in taking action. So you don't just shout it in a rally and then it will happen. You see, it doesn't work that way. That pronouncement by the President of the Youth League is falling in the category of ill-discipline. We've already explained how we're going to gather the information. We'll hear people. We've already, as people talk, we're compiling that list. We'll call them. Hey, okay, please come. Let's hear you out. What happened? Tembo Masek, what happened, Feki? What happened, Mcebisi? What happened, so and so, and so on and so on. And then once we have got the information, it can only be that information that determines what action to take. Because running an organization is based on a principle of establishing truth from facts. That is how you run an organization. You try to establish truth from facts. You don't just chase information because it is sensational. It doesn't work that way. We didn't discuss the question of the pronouncement by the Premier of the Northwest about foreigners not allowed to do business in township and in the villages. But in the past, let me just give you an indication. In the past, there are quite a number of countries in Africa, to get my point, which say small businesses must be the preserve of that nation, because small business constitute incubator for business people of the country. And I think the Premier of the Northwest is actually talking to that issue. I don't think we can have a blanket ban for foreigners from doing business anywhere. You can't have that. But there should be some protection of local small business to grow, because smallness is not a destination, it's a stage in development. Otherwise, if you don't protect them when they're small, you will not have big business in the future. And I think it's a discussion that we'll have, but in the NEC, that debate didn't arise. Capture. We're going to have a very interesting discussion on this matter. It started now to try and flesh it out theoretically, the question of state capture. How does it work? Is it only when I capture this, therefore that is state capture? Or does it go to the government, that is progressive, disarticulating progressive policies, and therefore becoming just an outlet of business interest? That debate has started, and it will continue until we are clear in our mind what it means. But the reality of the matter is we can never allow a situation where you have leadership that are converted into agents of business interests, or state institutions that are controlled outside of this, of themselves. Once you have that, there is a danger of capture, and that danger of capture will destroy the state. Everybody is alive to that issue, but we have started a debate, and it will be fleshed out further, because we need to clarify ourselves as a party and as the country, because it's not just an ANC matter, it's a national matter. That's it.
Yeah. Thanks very much, SG. Ladies and gentlemen, you were live at, in Irene. Thank you very much. Good evening. That brings an end.
Sorry, I believe the gentleman's question was, does the ANC believe that the president is captured and not the state? That was his question.
No, I'm giving you an explanation
you've answered it.
of the capture. Okay.
So the president is not captured?
No, I think that is a wrong question. It's not just unfair, it's a wrong question. Okay, because you're saying to me, make a judgment. That is what you're calling for. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, SG.
We're calling Gambo. I'm overruling him.
Thank you, SG. You speak about a relationship, and if it starts impacting the political party, which is the ANC,
yes,
and in this case the government.
Yes.
The question is therefore, do you believe that President Jacob Zuma's relationship with the Gupta family has started that, what you've explained?
The reason that we're establishing that avenue is to get concrete statements on people who are affected by it. When we get those statements, we will actually establish truth from facts. Okay.
Thanks very much. Good evening.